What is up, YouTube? I'm 40 here. So we're going to be looking at the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th place list coming out of New Zealand's last online tournament. Now, of course, if you guys are participating in online tournaments and you guys are doing fantastically well, or you're just smashing face with Yu-Gi-Oh!, feel free to send me your deck list via Facebook at mcole40 or, my personal one at Robbie Cole. Whichever one that you have access to makes life easier. I'm really far behind on my inbox, but that's fine, because when I get there, we'll be good. So, for 5th place, Cyber Dragons. So we have triple copies of Cyber Dragon, of course. We have triple copies of Cyber Dragon Core, recruiting for the best card in our deck, honestly. We have triple copies of Hearse, 2 copies of Naxter, with 1 Veer, 1 Doggeron, 1 Godarla, triple copies of the Galaxy Soldier, and then of course we have 1 Anchor Drill here, and then we have 2 copies of Jizakuru, the Star Destroying Kaiju. We also have triple copies of Cyber Emergency, 2 copies of the Repair Plant, 1 Rev System, 1 Cyberload Fusion, 1 Foolish Barrel, triple copies of the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, triple copies of Machine Duplication, and 2 copies of Overload Fusion. We also have 1 Cybernetic Overflow and triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, wrapping up the main deck here. Down here in the next deck, we have 1 Almirage, 1 copy of the Verte Anaconda, 1 copy of Platinum Gadget, 1 Zeger, 1 copy of the True King of All Calamities, and then we start getting into some interesting stuff. So we have 1 Infinity Tracker River Stormer. Now, this is something I've kind of seen decks kind of taking more advantage to playing, but when this card destroys opponent's monster by battle, you can attach it to this card as material. You can detach 1 material from this card to take 1 Earth Machine monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And if this card is in the graveyard, contribute 1 Machine Link Earth monster to special summon this card. But basically, we have the ability to just start taking our opponent's monsters and getting large materials on this. Plus, we have a free searcher for our drill, which is pretty good. We have 1 copy of Dingrisu, 1 copy of Cyber Nova, and 1 copy of the Cyber Dragon Infinity, with 1 Pallades, 1 Cyber Twin, 1 Rampage, 1 Mega Fleet, and 2 Fortress Dragon. Side deck here we have 2 Scythe, 1 Relinquished Anima, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, triple Lightning Storm, triple Sanctum, and triple copies of Evenly Matched. Now, one interesting thing about this now, we can actually resolve Verte Anaconda here to super cheese out the Cyberload Fusion and drop a Cyber Twin on the field. I never really seen this be a consistency factor, but this is very interesting to actually see what we can do with this now. So Cyber Dragons were a deck that I kind of put on the back burner for a lot of this format, with the Master Rule revision going into effect. I knew that the deck was still going to be there, but the free contact fusions that you really get with Mega Fleet and the advantage that you got off of this has kind of dwindled a little bit. Now, most decks will still be able to resolve Link summons and things like that, but just the value of this card doesn't feel as good as it used to. But I still see why this deck is still able to do things. Also, the fact that you've now got 200% more cheese built into your deck for the OTK. So, definitely a very interesting first look at Cyber Dragons for the new format. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what will come out of this deck in the near future, whether or not we have some other cool innovations or things like that, or players are just messing around with ideas in the future. The deck can still OTK out of left field, and it's still, because of these good cards, one of the best going second decks in the game. Alright, next up we have going second Striker. Now, Striker, a lot of players have been wanting lists for this, general ways to kind of capitalize on this deck, and it looks like going second, at least for this tournament, was the way to go with this. Basically being able to just free out advantage your opponent. I mean, 6 of the best cards that you could be main decking here, all at your disposal. So, we have 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops, triple copies of Ray, and 2 copies of Rose. No Ash Blossoms, no other hand traps, besides, the imperms down here, because we don't really care what our opponent does. We're going to slam our negates on the table and go to town. We have 1 copy of Double or Nothing for the OTK. We have triple copies of Lightning Storm, one copy of Mind Control, 2 copies of Pot of Avarice with 2 copies of Desires, 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, triple copies of Area Zero, triple Afterburners, that's a very interesting take, with 2 Jamming Waves. We have 1 Eagle Booster, 1 Hornet Drones, triple copies of Shark Cannon with 2 Widow Anchor, 1 Multi-Roll, 1 Terraforming, 1 Upstart Goblin. Traps, we have triple Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Infinite Impermanence. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Bomber Dragon, triple Shizuku, 1 Kaina, triple Kagari, 2 Hayate, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, and 1 Hida, with 1 Utopia Double and 1 Utopia. Side deck here, we have triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, 2 Mystic Mine, triple copies of Twin Twister, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One, wrapping up Sky Striker out of New Zealand's top 8. Very interesting. A lot of disruption advantage here. Also, the triple Afterburners being a relatively interesting tech choice. Definitely curious to see if players are going to mess around with the concepts with this and try some crazy ideas here, because triple of good cards. I mean, you've got the triple Desires, so, I mean, no matter what actually happens, you should be able to resolve and abuse these things. Alright, next up, we have Shaddoll Invoked. Now, we also had a Shaddoll Invoked list make its way into top 4, as you guys saw us talk about yesterday. And honestly, this deck is still one of the most consistent decks to be sitting at the dinner table. You really shouldn't be surprised by what this deck can actually do, especially if you're playing against it, or you've played against it. So we have triple copies of Alistair, the Invoker, 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 1 copy of Ariel, 1 Damage Juggler, 1 Trick Clown, triple copies of the Resh Shaddoll Windu, 2 copies of Beast, 1 Dragon, triple Hedgehog, and triple Squamata. And we have triple copies of El Shaddoll Fusion, triple copies of Invocation, 2 Ripple copies of Meltdown, triple copies of the regular Shaddoll Fusion, and 1 Super Polymerization. Then we have triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, and 1 copy of the Resh Shaddoll Incarnation. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Secure Gardener, 1 copy of Almirage, 1 Verte Anaconda, 1 Crush Sheep, 1 Boral Sword, and 1 The Invoker of Madness. We have 1 Starving Venom, 1 copy of Purgatrio, 2 copies of Mekaba, 2 copies of Winda, 2 copies of Construct, and 1 copy of the Apoklane. Side deck here we have triple Nibiru, triple copies of Sphere Mode, 2 copies of Dark Hole, 1 copy of Raigeki, triple copies of Twin Twister, and triple copies of Evenly Matched, wrapping up, wow, your pick for Invoked Shaddoll. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this. I'm just like staring at the list. I'm like, well, you know, everything's pretty standard here. Last but not least, we also have Invoked. Now, interesting to take note of here, Invoked has been loving Inspector Border. I've been seeing this in Maids and Sides all day long. And this, very interesting take on this deck. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of Eldlich, the Golden Lord himself. Then we have triple copies of Inspector Border. A lot of players are considering this deck the new True Draco because of how easy it is to manipulate, and you get a free extra deck. We also have triple copies of Gamma and 1 copy of the Psyframe Driver. Then we have triple copies of Cursed Eldland, triple copies of the Eld Elixir Black Awakening, and 1 White Destiny. And we have triple copies of Pot of Extrav. That's the spells. We have triple Conquistador, triple copies of the Eld Elixir of Scarlet, 1 copy of Golden Land Forever, 2 copies of Hakuaro, 1 Imperial Order, 1 Skill Drain, and triple copies of Judgment with triple Summon Limit. Summon Limit's a good card. Down here in the next deck, we have the 2 Vampire Sucker. Honestly, the fact that you have a mini draw engine built into this deck because of how generic Vampire Sucker is insane to me. Like, thank you for the free advantage. And we have 2 copies of Juggernaut Libby with triple Gustav Max, 2 copies of Volcasaurus, and the 1 Gaia Dragon, because, you know, the old blow up your opponent, go into the Charger for the push OTK, still viable. 2 copies of Pallades, 1 Omega, and 2 copies of the Draco Berserker of the 10E. Side deck here we have 1 Pankratops, triple Lava Golem, 2 copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Galaxy Cyclone, with triple Lightning Storm, and triple copies of Evenly Matched, wrapping up your chunk of New Zealand's tournament deck profiles for this event. So like I said, floor is open. If you guys have participated in an online tournament, please send your reports on over. I'd love to cover this stuff. And well, guys, I'm out. Deuce Arena. The ride never truly ends. Thank you, patrons, for helping support the channel. Without you guys, I don't know if I'd still be doing this. And for those of you that like Cardfight Vanguard, FanCool40 is here for all your content needs. And those of you asking if I sell cards, mcoolgames.com for all your trading card game needs. Check the description for more interesting info. Thanks for watching, guys.